Thanks everyone for joining in. We have, as I mentioned, a special announcement, and I'm going to turn it over to my fantastic colleague, Tom Lukowski, who's going to talk us through what we are announcing today.
All right, well, thank you so much, B, and thank you to CC and all of our amazing panelists today for being here. Such an exciting event. If there's been one central theme today of many, it is a lot of uncertainty about what the future will look like and how AI technology will develop. Just to highlight that a little bit, Stephen Hawking said that AI could spell the end of the human race. Mark Andreessen thinks AI can make everything we care about better. Hillary Clinton has said we're racing headfirst and we're unprepared. Jan LeCun of Meta has said we should not see AI as a threat. We should see it as beneficial. Vice President Harris thinks that AI has the potential for profound good and profound harm. And President Barack Obama has said it's clear by now that AI will affect us all. And I share this to really emphasize that people disagree. There's not one unified narrative of what the future is going to be like. People have opinions spanning from the end of the human race to everything is fine and everything, we're going to live in a utopia, to profound impacts on democracy, on the labor force, to profound positives that could come to consumers, to all of us. And so what does this mean? It means a couple things. First, it means that we need to be thoughtful. And it also means that we need to make sure that a lot of people have a voice, that everyone can have a voice in this conversation, because we don't know what the future will look like. And so we need to listen carefully to one another. And so this is one of the central drivers of Aspen Digital's work. And so as we've mentioned a couple times, one of the central things we've done in this vein is our emerging tech primers, which you can access at this URL and in the chat. We started the process of creating these primers over a year ago. They started with interviews with journalists, which transitioned into a series of salons with experts on AI. And eventually we published 3 AI primers, really initially intended to help journalists as they figure out, how do we report on AI? How do we talk about AI? They were both designed for tech journalists and also for non-tech journalists, right? For the folks, as we heard Cece mention, who cover other beats, but who are recognizing, well, AI is affecting healthcare, or AI is affecting finance or politics, and really need to be catching up on these new technologies. So I'm going to quickly go through those 3 primers. First, there's finding experts in AI. This has several components. One is information about common roles in AI. One is a directory of experts. So how do you get in touch with the right people? Who do you need to talk to learn more about AI? And as well as we have notable conferences in AI, right? So where are people gathering? Where are these conversations happening? Second, our second primer of 3 is the intro to generative AI. This highlights what is generative AI, how does it actually work, what does it mean, and also goes into several key issues. So those include the future of work, intellectual property, information ecosystems, the effect of generative AI on our ability to talk to one another and to have a shared sense of truth, and several others. And finally, our third primer, AI 101. This goes into the very ground level. What is AI? What are we even talking about? What does all this mean? When people say the algorithm, what does that mean? When people say AI, what does that mean? And we also discuss how to talk better about AI. So here is our view of what the best sentences on AI look like. We think they generally take the form of people who use specific AI tools or capabilities to do tasks. So just to highlight each piece of that, first, people, right? So we're not just talking about AI as an agent. We're talking about the people who designed the system, who trained the system, who are deploying the system, and making those decisions about how it gets used. Second, specific tools or capabilities. We think it's important to get away from talking about AI as one thing, and it's far more helpful to talk about specific tasks, specific capabilities that AI has. And finally, the task portion. We want to get away from marketing speak, from projections about what things could look like. We want to talk specifically about what AI is doing now. So I'm going to run through an example of what a good excerpt about AI looks like. This is a bad excerpt about AI. I wrote this excerpt about AI, and we're going to go through it and improve it. So right now it says the AI has learned to predict crimes. How can this improve? Well, first, has learned. This is personification, right? We use this sometimes to help explain to folks who are new what's going on, but this is not actually what's happening within the system, right? So we can get more specific. So this is a little bit better. The AI matches crime data with information about land use to predict crimes. That's a little bit better, but we can keep improving. Right now, we're still talking about the AI as if it's one thing. We can get a little bit more clear there. Risk terrain modeling matches crime data with information about land use to predict crimes. That's even better, but we can keep improving. Predict crimes. This is marketing speak, right? Is that actually what's happening? What is the system literally doing? We can make this excerpt better. And here we go. Risk terrain modeling matches crime data with information about land use to identify trends that could be triggering crimes. This is even more clear, but we can do a little better. Who is doing this? We're still centering the AI, the risk terrain modeling, as the agent here. So we can improve this further by talking about who is actually creating this, who is deploying it. So here's the final version of this sentence. Developed by Rutgers University researchers, risk terrain modeling matches crime data with information about land use to identify trends that could be triggering crimes. And CC, if you're still on, this sentence might look familiar because this is from an article in the markup. We think this is an excellent example of how to talk better about AI. Again, what we think this sentence does well is it talks about people who use specific AI tools or capabilities to do tasks. So just to highlight that here, we have the people behind the tool developed by Rutgers University researchers. We have the specific tool that's being used, risk terrain modeling. And we have the specific capability, avoiding marketing speak, talking about what it's actually doing. It's matching crime data with information about land use to identify trends that could be triggering crimes. This is an excellent example about how to talk about AI. We want to highlight examples like this. And so as part of that effort, today we're very excited to launch our Reporting on AI Hall of Fame. If you have written an excerpt about AI, or you've read an excerpt about AI in an article, we are asking you to submit at this URL. We would love to highlight these examples. We want to point people towards the best examples of reporting on AI. So just to quickly run through what we're looking for. First, we're looking for clear language. We want these examples of excerpts to be accessible to as many people as possible. We don't want it to use technical jargon. Second, we're looking to highlight human actors. So we, again, think it's important that the AI is not the agent in these excerpts. We're looking for the humans that are designing the systems, that are training the systems, and that are deploying the systems. Third, we want to describe current capabilities. So we're trying to avoid marketing speak in these excerpts. We're trying to describe specifically what current systems are doing. And finally, and this is central, we want to avoid personification. Right? So we think it's really important to talk about what the AI is literally doing, not using figurative language. There is a time and place for that. Words like learn or understand sometimes can be helpful when folks are new, but we think it's important that these excerpts make clear what is literally going on within the system. So again, we're asking all of you, if you've written something, if you've read something, whatever, submit to our AI Hall of Fame. You can do so at this link below, and hopefully it's in the chat as well. Our deadline for submission is the end of January, so you have until January 31st, 2024. Again, this can be something you've written, can be something you've read. As long as it's an excellent example of AI writing, we want to highlight it. Thank you very much. I will pass it back to Bea.
Thank you so much, Tom, and thank you everyone for joining us here today. We're so excited to be launching the Hall of Fame. And I'll just say again, we encourage a wide range of submissions here. Are you involved with a student journalism outlet? Are you involved with a school newspaper? We would love to highlight great technology journalism there. If you are someone who is sharing about a English language publication from around the world, we would love to include as many different examples of great descriptions of AI that we can find. So please do this. And the reason we're doing this is because what we heard when we did those initial interviews with journalists back in the day when we first started this project, what we heard from folks is, I need good examples to model after. I need templates I can follow. I need examples that showcase what good reporting and good communication looks like. And as we expanded this work out, from journalists to reach broader audiences in government, in nonprofits, and education, what we found is the same is true. Everyone needs good examples. So by contributing your good examples, we can make the conversation about AI a little bit better. So with that, I want to bring us to a close here. Thank you so much to our panelists, Victoria, Alex, Clarence, Cece for our fireside chat. Absolute joy. It's been so wonderful having you all here with us. Thank you all, everyone joining in from home, who participated in our audience Q&A. Really appreciate all of the thoughtful questions that you all submitted. Looking forward to the next one. And I hope that you will join us. Welcome you to follow us on LinkedIn. I believe we have a Twitter account. We have our team and our panelists tagged in our LinkedIn posts. And absolutely, please do sign up for our newsletter so you can stay tuned for all of the upcoming events. A big thank you to our funders at Siegel Family Endowment, who've been incredible partners in this work. We couldn't do it without you. Thanks so much, everyone. I hope you have a great rest of your day.